I'm gonna show you later. These are like little chocolate pumpkin clouds. Look at that. My pumpkin lovers out there, get on these. Hey everyone, today we're making pumpkin chocolate chip cookies. Now, if you don't like pumpkin, don't jump ship quite yet. And if you love pumpkin, you're gonna love these. So, to start, we are going to put together a half cup of melted butter. Into a large bowl, you can use your stand mixer because we're going to pretty much cream these ingredients together. A 15-ounce can of pumpkin, not pumpkin puree, or yes, pumpkin puree, not pumpkin pie filling, just one ingredient, pumpkin. I am cutting this recipe in half. So the original recipe calls for you to use the big 29-ounce can of pumpkin, but I don't need that many cookies. So we're doing a half batch. We need 1.5 cups of white sugar. This is my half cup measuring spoon. And then a half teaspoon of vanilla. Precision. All right, so you can use a hand mixer, stand mixer like I mentioned. I'm just gonna do it by hand. Once those 4 ingredients have come together and they are nice and smooth, we're going to add 1 egg. Get that mixed in. All right, once your egg is incorporated, we're going to set aside our wet ingredients. And in a small bowl, we're going to put together our spices. So this recipe calls for pumpkin pie spice, which I don't have, but that's okay. So it calls for a lot of spice, but just, it's okay. It's necessary. So for cutting the recipe in half, we need 2 tablespoons of pumpkin pie spice. What I'm doing is 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. My tablespoon doesn't fit in my container, so I need 3 teaspoons. And then a teaspoon of ground ginger, a teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and a teaspoon of ground clove. Next, we need our leaveners, both baking powder and baking soda. We need 3 teaspoons of baking powder. I know it seems like a lot. And 3/4 teaspoons of baking soda. Lastly, we need our salt. So a half teaspoon of kosher salt. So just get all of those mixed in together. And once they've all come together in your little spice mix, we're gonna add these to our wet ingredients. All right, once all of your spice mix is incorporated, now we're going to add our flour. We need 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and we're gonna add it in gradually. So I'm gonna put in 1 cup, mix, 1 cup, mix, and then the last half cup. So half cup, and there's our first cup. And I'm just gonna fold in our flour. And I'm spooning my flour into my measuring cup because flour will pack down. And when it packs down, we end up adding too much flour. Let's mix in our second cup. And now for the last little bit of flour. Make sure you get all around your sides and down to the bottom. Just make sure everything's incorporated. And then once you see no more loose flour, you can stop mixing. Now this recipe calls for chocolate chips, but there's something about having chocolate chunks in cookies that are just like, it's that little pocket of melted chocolate. So I'm doing chocolate chips and chocolate chunks. So in total for a half batch, we need 1 cup of chocolate chips. So this is, which is about 6 ounces. This chunk of chocolate is 3 ounces. So I'm going to use a half cup of chocolate chips and then this bar of chocolate. So I'm gonna put my chocolate right in. And then today I have mini chocolate chips. And I kind of like mini chocolate chips in that they can go more places. So it's like there's always a little piece of chocolate in every bite. And I mean, who wants a bite of cookie that doesn't have any chocolate when it's supposed to have chocolate in it? So just fold all of our chocolate in. Additionally, my chocolate bar was dark chocolate, and then my chocolate chips are semi-sweet. When I'm baking, I never use milk chocolate just because it's like sickly sweet chocolate. So I always use semi-sweet at least. Bittersweet can be good as well. And then you can always mix them, but whatever chocolate you prefer. All right, again, scrape your sides, scrape down to the bottom, and then you have your cookie dough. Now, I normally would taste cookie dough, but there's something about pumpkin doughs and batters that uncooked pumpkin just isn't appetizing to me, but if you want to try it, go for it. So this recipe has us making 1/4 cup size cookies, which is amazing. Everyone loves a big, delicious cookie. However, I'm going to make smaller ones just because I like the idea that you can have more of them. So this is a 1.5 tablespoon cookie scoop. It's a number 40 in case you are curious. I will link this down below in case you don't have any. They're amazing. They just make balling cookie dough so much better. Easier, uniform, I'm a fan. So we're going to put these on a parchmented cookie sheet, a couple inches apart. Did I tell you our oven is preheated to 375? If I didn't, there you go. All right, and then these are going to go in the oven. The bigger version of these cookies are prescribed to go in the oven for 12 to 15 minutes. I'm gonna start with 10 just because they are smaller, and then I'll put them in for extra time if needed. All right, this is 10 minutes. Look at these beauties. It's hard to tell if they've gotten a little golden. I'm gonna put them in for 1 more minute just because I wanna make sure they're done in the middle. I think I'm okay with these. They seem to have a little bit of golden edge around the outside of them. Now we're just going to set these here and let them just rest for 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll take them off the pan. Now, you can put these on a wire rack. You might think I'm strange, but this is how I roll. This is an inside out paper grocery bag. It is what it is. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. Actually, it seems to absorb a little bit of the grease from the cookies. I mean, it's a cookie still, so it's not like it's making it much healthier, but these ones have a bunch of fiber in from the pumpkin. Do you see how much volume these have? Amazing. All right, I'm gonna set us up for a second batch to go in the oven, and then we will give these a taste test. So I put those in for 11 minutes this time, but let's give one of these a taste test. I think I want this one with a big chocolate chunk melted on top. Look at that. Honestly, it's seriously a pumpkin cloud with chocolate in it. Let's give it a taste test. That is seriously delicious. It's almost like a texture cross between a cake and a cookie. It's kind of like a muffin top texture, but the spice, the warm spice with the chocolate. These are perfect for any time of year, but especially it's September right now. We're going into the fall season. My pumpkin lovers out there, get on these. Absolutely delightful. Okay, so this was a half batch. Just a warning, I will link the original recipe below, but I will type out how I made them. And I think this is a dough that you could stick in the fridge and kind of make fresh cookies throughout the next few days. And you could try balling up some dough onto a cookie sheet with parchment, popping it in the freezer, and then once they're frozen, popping them in perhaps like a bag or a container, and then putting those in the freezer. And then you can just pop out some dough and bake it whenever you want a cookie. Do be aware that when you are storing these are really moist cookies, so they're gonna tend to kind of wanna stick to one another a little bit. So I would layer them with parchment in between each layer of cookies. But yes, what do you guys think? If you would make these, hit that like button. And then if you know someone who loves pumpkin, go ahead and share this video with them. And thank you all for watching. Now go check out one of my other videos, and I'll see you guys there.